Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders, I'm Roy, our Coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Warn Dogs.
And Calvin.
Coach of Mighty Calvinator.
Now, boys, the trade period's over, and we haven't seen each other for a couple of weeks, so we thought it'd be rude not to catch up and at least have a bit of a chat about it.
Now I've got a bone to pick with you two.
What's that?
Calvin, Trade Radio. Listen in, Calvin. It's going to be awesome, Calvin. Now, that's the first time this year I've actually tuned in.
It was quality.
Hang on. I tuned in at work, in the car,
Yes,
I got
yes.
home.
Yeah.
Nothing exciting happened.
You can't tell me, though, that you didn't learn something in that period.
Not much.
Oh, what?
Calvin.
Not much.
Haven't you learnt there's a soap for tradies, mate? It exfoliates and cools.
I did. And somebody was shouting. What was that one? I don't know what that was. I couldn't work it out.
Cow. It's quality stuff. You've got to love the talkback
That's
listeners
great.
because I think that's the best part of it. But,
Yeah.
boys, 31 players changed clubs, which is down a bit on last year, which obviously felt like listening to Trade Radio a little bit. Not a lot going on, but there's a bit of fantasy relevance that we can talk about, not necessarily for the players that
Okay.
moved, but maybe for what happens around them, the flow-on effect,
Yeah.
as we might call
Or
it.
dominoes.
Yes.
Yeah. And let's face it, at this time of the year, we'll find relevancy in
Don't worry.
anything just to talk about our
Well, this is
teams.
what fantasy coaches do. We're about
100%.
150 days out from the first
Yeah.
lockout.
Is that
all?
That is
There
all.
will be that many names we talk about in this period, and when it comes to the crunch that night before lockout, they're all just non-existent.
All right, well, let's get into the first club. We're going to go club by club this year because there's a fair bit going on for each club.
Oh, lies.
All right, let's start with the Crows, Cow. Your boys.
Oh, that's disputable, dog. I'm looking for a new team.
Yeah,
So-
I don't blame you.
Yep.
The mass exodus,
Yep.
as it was called.
And I'm
So
one of them.
they lost Eddie Betts, Cam Ellis-Yolmen, Hugh Greenwood, Sam Jacobs, Josh Jenkins and Alex Keith, arguably all in the 22, best 22.
Oh,
yep,
So what
easy.
that means is bloody opportunity for players.
It does.
That's something we're going to see.
Crisis creates something, dog, and it's
Could be
opportunity.
Now, Billy Frampton was their only in. So he probably comes in and walks into the side now, doesn't he?
Probably.
So he's a 23-year-old, played 3 games, scores off 52, 63 and 14.
Whoa.
Played 2 this year. Now, Cow, his Sandful average, that's a real competition
Yes, it
if we're
is.
looking at
I'll
twos
pay that.
numbers. 80, 79, 85
Ooh.
average over the last 3 years.
He's going to be
Have ruck status, forward, and possibly forward status.
dirt cheap, dog.
Yeah, not dirt cheap.
Pretty cheap.
But pretty cheap. Should be all right. But I reckon we're looking at the fringe players
Yes.
that have got the opportunity at the Crows.
Agree.
Patrick Wilson.
Yeah?
Waited for
he
you
had
last.
massive numbers too.
Yep. So
Like Darcy Fogarty will be playing,
He'll be
but
playing.
he'll be at too much of an awkward
We might see
price,
some of
don't worry.
those guys that didn't play this year, so they'll be basement price like that. Ned McHenry, he was a high draft pick,
Yep.
and also Shane McAdam,
Yes,
who was
true.
that mature age player coming through. So they'll be players to look at there. Definitely someone to, a club that we'll be watching a little bit. Now, from the Twitter, we've got Greg Mays. Anyone from the Crows on your watch list, given that Betts, Keith, Jenkins, Greenwood, Cam Ellis-Yolmen are no longer there? So, guess those players that we just mentioned. Anyone else that you think? A name that came into my head across this time was definitely Bryce Gibbs.
I was going to say Bryce.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be a lot cheaper
Yeah,
because
he
he had a
will.
poor year.
Yep.
So he's one that I'll be looking at. So it's going to be some of those midfielders.
New coach.
Yeah.
100%.
That's going to be one of the biggest pre-season watches this year,
Yep.
I
It
think,
will.
the Crows.
Surely he goes straight back into the middle and he's there with the Crouch brothers.
Yeah. Are they going to be there?
They are there.
Well, I reckon Damo Barrett still holds out hope.
Well, that
Brad
is-
Crouch is
yeah,
going.
that is
Let's
true.
get to the next club, and that was the Brisbane Lions. They brought in Archie and Grant Birchall and Cam Ellis-Yolmen. So there's some names there. They lost Tom Cutler and Louis Taylor, not players in the 22. So this is going to be kind of the opposite. There's going to be more of a squeeze, I think, if these ins are into the 22.
Yep, yeah, definitely. Now, you know how through that trade period, that bloke called Sources that everyone talked about that told all those lies? I've been talking to him.
Oh, have you?
He's a shady character, but
Yeah,
I've got some insight from old mate Sources about the Lions and the guys coming in.
Right.
Now, it is a stretch to find relevancy, but, you know, any information's good information this time of the year. So Birch is looking good. Like
Yes.
for round
I think
one,
he'll
if
be
he
good,
gets
yeah.
through the pre-season, which hopefully he does, his
Obviously.
only injury at the moment is a wrist, which won't
Oh,
be
right.
an issue
So
at all.
not even the issue that he's had with his knees and stuff.
100%. So if he comes in, what can we expect from him?
Well, he's been
Wow.
an 80 guy in the past. So a couple of my numbers that I wrote down here.
Yep.
Between 2011 and 2017, he averaged between 81 and 90. So he's going to be discounted.
Yep.
So this year, so that's a positive, obviously. But he's averaged over 80 over his 250 games that he's played. So I think that means that we could expect close to an 80. Maybe not an 80, but the Brisbane Lions...
Yeah.
They
well,
will-
Hodgie's gone.
Yeah.
So he's priced at 58.
The warm weather thing is relevant.
Yes, it is for an
I
old body.
factor it in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I reckon he'll look how many games Hodgie played. What, 20 with the finals in the end?
Yep.
No one expected that.
So even when he
Don't mind
played
it.
this year, though, his scoring was pretty good considering his time on ground. So he had an 80 from 66% time on ground,
Yeah.
73 from 71, and then his 66 that he got injured on, that was only from 46.
So he came back scoring.
He was coming back scoring, and
Yeah.
that's really important, I think. So we'll look at him. He'll be one of those mid-price guys that we might look at. Cam Ellis-Yolmen, he's
Yeah.
just a draft guy, though, isn't he?
He
Or-
certainly is.
Expensive, yeah,
He'll
definitely.
be mid-only, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear what sources said about it?
What did sources say?
So, sources said he's likely to go straight in to the
Really?
midfield.
Straight in the guts.
Yeah, to play alongside Neil and Zorko in there.
Big body, Roy?
Yeah. So, and they are
Wow.
thinking that it will help those two, that bigger-bodied mid that we always hear
So we've
about.
all...
Thanks, sources.
Because
Yep.
88 average, like his
Yeah.
price very high.
Yeah.
Would you draft him at 88 or would you...
Oh, well, I actually put some notes down about him, Dog. So
Yeah.
52 and 57 were two scores throughout the
Okay.
year for him, and he still had that impressive average. I think those type of scores are going to be a thing of the past in Brisbane.
Okay.
So
Warm
I
weather.
think you can draft him due to the warm weather at that price.
Right, okay. Now, Archie, not really going to look at him, though,
No,
I don't think.
that's,
One game, 62. He'll get massively discounted, but you're not doing it.
Here's where I disagree.
Do you?
You guys haven't listened to sources.
What?
Right.
Do sources play 30 players on the field each week or something?
Sources sees him potentially straight off the half-back line and on a wing.
And on a wing.
And they rate his disposal highly. They want it in his hands.
2019 fantasy record called and said, no,
No.
don't do it.
He's a high draft pick. Wasn't he like number 8?
He was high.
Yeah. No, don't rule it out,
Okay.
boys. He'll be in my starting lineup.
Good work.
Sources never lie.
All right, let's get into the biggest failure of the trade period. The Carlton Blues destroy. What did they do?
Everything they needed to, bar they just missed Papley,
Just missed.
which was Essendon's fault.
You got Pitnet.
Yeah, Pitnet.
Pitnet.
How does
Pitnet.
Hodgie say it? Pitnet.
So Pitnet
Pitnet.
comes
Oh, that's
in
right.
basically for Andrew Phillips, who was the
Yeah.
depth ruck there. So
Yeah.
they lose him. Obviously a bit younger, but Phillips is much better.
Oh, please. Phillips has passed it, mate. Old Pitt, he'll be around for a long time.
All right.
He'll be fine.
Playing for
Don't
the
worry about
Northern
that.
Blues.
Eddie coming in is massive. Now that
What?
gives everyone
We're a
across the
fantasy
field
footy podcast.
a couple of points boost, just having him there.
Does it really?
Yeah, every Carlton player's average
Wow.
will increase.
I reckon that's enough on Carlton. Let's get into Collingwood. If they had Papley, maybe we would talk about it more. No, Collingwood, let's get there. They've done nothing either, really. James H went out, but they bring in Darcy Cameron, which means we have our R3.
Yeah.
And once again,
Pocket him.
He sits there
170
again
game.
in different colours though.
But that's it, Cal.
Yep.
Pocketing.
That's it. That's
The
all we're talking about
handcuffing
here.
of him to the bench with Brodie Grundy.
Yep.
Are you definitely starting Grundy?
Well, I thought Grundy got traded. Did he get traded? Didn't they talk about the radio that he was always
Well,
traded?
that's
Bombers
one
should
thing.
have offered the 7 years to him.
Sources got that one wrong.
Did he really?
Yeah.
It's
he was
unusual for
drunk.
sources. Yeah, but you can pocket him against Brodie Grundy. Grundy misses a game. Oh, Darcy gets one. Finally. Will he get a game?
He might. Now, Calvin, the needful numbers of Cameron.
Oh, right. Tell me.
142 average last year from 19 games. So it's not even
He
like...
did what?
That was last year.
That's big, isn't it?
142.
Only 96 this year.
Yeah, he got
Is that all?
lazy.
Is that all?
142 average for a year.
Wow.
Okay.
now,
And he scored 27 in his one AFL game that he's played.
Imagine how many snouts there'd be in the NEFL.
Oh, the bar
Every
would just
player
have to
would
be
get
so
one.
much higher.
It's harder to find a non-pig in the NEFL now. Does this increase the likelihood of spending up for Grundy having the pocket effect? Having the safety of having a guaranteed replacement?
Yes,
It does, doesn't it?
Does.
definitely.
Yeah. I like it.
I like it.
All right, time for the Bombers, and they were very good in the trade period. A+ destroy if you were marking them. They didn't
shocking
lose
team.
anyone. but brought in Tom Cutler. So he's someone that I think a lot of people have had in draft at times.
Yeah.
Because he can't. Do you know what Tom
He's
Cutler
always
does?
on the scrap heap.
He is, but then he'll go and have, like, here's one little patch of games that I found in
I
play.
was actually going to talk about it.
Yeah. He went
right.
in 97, 101, or 142, and everyone goes and jumps on that. Of course you do.
Yeah.
And then he busts out a 59 straight after that. And that's what he does all the time. He'll string 2 or 3 good ones together. But he'll be playing on Essendon's wing, I
They
think.
did lose someone.
Who?
Oh, no, it's more of a something, the respect of Danaher.
Oh, you're an idiot. Danaher. He'll be cheap this year just quietly.
Got him.
Get aboard. Get on
Cutler
board
will
him.
be
He doesn't even want to play for you.
Cutler will be worse at Essendon.
Do you think so?
Yes. Every player that goes there
But
gets
no,
worse.
I must admit, dog.
Hello, Devon Smith. Hello, Dylan Shield.
How'd Devon go this year, mate?
How'd he go the year before?
That's not the
Peanut.
point.
He was injured this
As
year.
good as your last season,
Gee,
mate.
they'd be devastated they went there.
Yeah, big time.
All right, Phillips. Now, he could
Here we go.
potentially take over from Bill James as
Well,
the number
that's-
one
well,
race.
That's yeah,
He
definitely
could.
relevant.
Finally talking
It's not
some sense.
happening,
No.
but I would not be surprised.
He is a
when you
very
put that out there.
serviceable ruck. So he does average those 30 hit-outs basically this year when he played. So he's a walk-up for
Played
30
5
hit-outs.
this year, 5 games.
And he's not awful around the ground. He's every chance to get games as a sole ruck,
Bill
isn't he?
James is usually injured, so he
Well,
pop in.
there's games there for him as sole ruck. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But, yeah, I don't know. That's enough of the Bombers. Let's get into Freo.
Right.
Now,
You're
there's-
excited, are you?
I am. I think Blake Acres. I've been a believer of Blake Acres over the years.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've had him in draft, have
Often
you?
draft
Yes.
him, yes.
Yeah, and
He's got it back to his draft team again.
Deep draft.
well, when you are the reigning draft premier, not that he played many games because he only averaged 67.5 this year.
Can I
from
just
his
flag
19
something,
games.
Dom?
Yep.
People didn't care about your draft team last year. They care even less this year.
They know I'm the reigning premier of the Baker Cup. Now, he went 80 plus in 2018, so there's an initial discount there, a dozen or so points that he'll be cheaper,
Yeah. Right.
whether it's classic you're thinking, or even draft too, when
Yep.
you're thinking about that.
Relevant.
But we've got our first one from the trade period. More midfield time. Yes.
Dinger!
That's what he's getting because he will be available as a forward.
Yep.
He will be in the midfield, and they've said that as such. Like that's their midfield. They need players in there.
Whoever's quoting more midfield time is
Yep.
about as reliable as our old mate.
Sources.
No,
Yes.
no, that's true. That's coming from the club, so I
Okay,
like
that
that.
wouldn't
Oh,
lie.
must be true.
Freo wouldn't lie.
That's what you do. So they lost Brad Hill and Ed Langdon, so a couple of wingers. So Akers is at least going to be on the wing.
Yes.
So that's what's
I
going to
believe you are
happen.
correct
That's going to
here.
happen here, isn't it?
So you think you'll have forward status and be on the wing?
Yeah, well, he has forward status from this
Right,
year.
well-
Like, they don't lose it because they're going to a new club unless you're Gary Ablett.
Yes,
like
well, that's what I was
6 or
going to
7
say.
years ago.
Flagging
But,
the Ablett issue. Yeah,
but no,
okay.
he will have forward status.
he's relevant.
Yep, definitely. Very relevant. And so will be one to watch, and I'm sure we'll say his name lots of time this pre-season.
I don't think we're going to say it a lot, but did you see Freco tweeted out the no Freo rule?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Never pick a docker.
Yeah.
Never pick a docker.
Ahead of his
Thank God
time,
it was
Cam
the man
was,
on
yeah,
that.
Definitely.
Very relevant.
Now, Ace, he's the other one that's gone there. Averaged 72.4 from his 21 games this year. Do you know how good he was in his debut year?
Yeah, well, he can score.
That's
the thing.
72.4, sorry, that's his debut season.
Yeah.
He's only averaged 66 since
Very
in his career.
interesting. Yeah.
So,
The right role can see him
halfback he'll
score.
be. Yeah.
Do you think?
Well, that's what he's best at, isn't it?
I think he prefers the wing.
Yeah.
And I think he could push 80 on a wing, couldn't he? Playing there?
As long as he's not pushing old mate Akers out. No, well, they've
No,
got
I
two
think
wings
they'll
for
take a wing each, yeah.
That's how that might
So,
look.
Doug, would you pick Akers in your fantasy team if you had to make it today?
He'd be definitely in the mix.
He's definitely a dude you'd sit there in the pre-season.
Has to
before
be. Mid-price, madness.
Lockout night.
We could do it. Now, just a question here from Stuart Ward. Can you guys please take a stab at what the Fremantle midfield is going to look like?
I whipped one up.
Did you?
Yeah.
What
I
did you think?
Because I had to read the names of Fremantle players. I couldn't just do it off the top of my head. I don't really know who plays for them. So,
Oh, no.
old mate
Is this
Lob,
the rolling 22?
Lob plays there, doesn't he?
I've missed the rolling 22 as well.
Yeah,
Rory.
I considered rolling one out this episode, but I thought, no, make the people wait. So Darcy or Lob's the ruck, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so whatever they decide to do there. But then I've got Fife, Brayshaw and Walters.
Walters will be forward mid still, won't
but
he?
I still want to ding for more midfield time.
Oh, okay.
I think he'll be getting more. And then I just thought Akers and Aish on a wing. I thought that would be their best setup as a midfield.
They've got a few guys too, those first and second year players that might get that midfield
100%.
mix.
And when
Shearer,
I read their names
like
and
you said.
couldn't picture their face, I just didn't bother putting them down.
Fremantle. Never pick a docker. Let's look at Geelong. Now, they lost Tim Kelly. That ended up happening. It happened fairly early too. That probably devastated trade radio not to be able to talk about that for another week. But Zach Smith also went, which he's been a very good player too in the past at times. For Geelong,
that's a stretch.
He went an 80 plus. He had an 80 plus season for them, and he was their number one ruck. But then he's on the outer mega this year.
Yep.
But they brought in Josh Jenkins, who will walk straight into that forward line, which I see some positives in that because I reckon the old mate Danger does not spend any time forward. So if he can, fingers crossed,
no room.
Fingers crossed he holds that forward status. It's a knife edge, I reckon, that one.
Oh,
I'll have
really?
to see what Fredo's got to say about that.
Psycho.
But don't know whether he will be. But it probably means that guys like him push up, with Kelly out as well. I think Danger's a full-time midfielder.
Yeah.
But the other guy, and this is more midfield time, Jack Stephen. This is the guy I'm very excited about.
Same here. Same here.
One, because he's going to be so much cheaper than he has been in the past.
Yes.
Averaged 76 this year. Now, he doesn't get his discount off the 76 because he played the 7 games. He gets that off the 96, I think it was, that he had. Priced him about 88.
Okay.
Now, some people go, oh, yeah, but he only averaged 76 this year. You're paying too much for him.
Yeah.
Have a think about what he's done in the past. So, 111.5 in 2015. Yes, that's a little while ago. Got him on the front cover of the AFL record.
Yeah, that was the highest average that year, wasn't it?
He was.
So elite potential.
But then the years after that, it was 104, 94, 97. They're all numbers there that are much better than 88 that he'll be priced at. Now, the winner here, he'll go back into that midfield. He'll play midfield. Because he had to play forward a lot this year. Bit of body issues. Obviously, his mental health issues that he had there probably meant that he wasn't at his peak fitness.
Yeah.
He will have forward status.
Yeah.
Well, when I say will, he will most likely have forward status.
If you've made your decision, dog, you just stick with it and give him that forward status.
We'll see.
He he was obviously unfit. You could tell by looking at him, but he was still quick.
Yeah.
So quick. He's going to be very good.
What will he average? What do you think he'll average?
88, 90. So you hold that.
I think he's
But
like
I think
as a forward, I take
we're
that.
going to lose a lot of forwards as well with our big gun forwards, I would assume.
I can feel, just sitting next to Roy, that his rolling 22 forward senses are tingling. Could he be a top 6? I bet he's in the mix at some
Jack Darling
point.
has been.
I bet he definitely starts in there.
All right. Let's get into the Gold Coast Suns now. They lost Calamachi, as we spoke about going to Brisbane before, but they brought in the first move, actually, Brandon Ellis. He was the first free agent movement of the year. Ellis. Brandon Ellis. Hugh Greenwood and Zach Smith.
Can't you read? It clearly starts with an E. It's Alice.
It's Alice. Right, so Brandon Ellis, he's basically been a wingman the last couple of years. Did have the defender status, though. I don't think he'll have it this year.
Yeah.
Not that I watched him intently, but I would say that he would be just on the wing. He was on the wing this year and he'll keep just midfield status.
It's very interesting. A lot of players, we say, they're going to Gold Coast, they're going to have the opportunity to get their hands on it a heap, and it fails more often than not. He is someone that doesn't seem to get his own ball.
No.
And the Tigers, even on grand final day, the way they were sharing it round, and he still managed to avoid it.
Yeah.
So I just...
Yeah, it was awful.
So,
they had 30 in the grand final.
Yeah.
30.
With all those kick marks they were doing. So Line clearly threw him late draft option.
Yeah, so...
Late.
His best bet...
85 average he had this year. Would you draft him at that as a mid? That's a deep league if you're getting an 85 midfielder.
He's going to be worse at the Suns.
The thing is...
Is he?
Yes, he'd be worse at the Suns.
The only games he is going to play well is like a Sunday afternoon twilight where the other team's already up by 100 and he can just chip around for the last 10 minutes.
But that's happened in the
Save
grand
his
final.
day.
All right,
happened in the grand final and he still couldn't do it.
I reckon
you don't understand the twilight
Answer to Reece Baxter's question here. Can Ellis average 100 at the Suns?
No.
What does he average then? Give us a number.
71.
78.
No one at the Suns can average 100. No one. No one can average...
Fiorini?
What did he have this year?
Dunno.
He came down
Wits?
like it. Oh, that's different, though. He's a ruckman.
No one at the zone. Right. Okay, Greenwood. Now, could he push on 100 average? Maybe not 100.
He does
but
90 plus.
Yeah.
He is priced at not 78.2. He picked up forward status during the year. Hopefully he holds that. If he does, then, geez, that's another
Loves a
knock
cuddle.
on the door.
Loves a cuddle, Roy.
He does. And you know what? He might be in the rolling 22 to start with as well as a forward. I reckon he's straight in the midfield, and this one's legit. Actually, I even... Doug.
What happened
I've
here?
researched.
Ding! More midfield time.
And, as Warnie said, if the club says it, it's confirmed. So...
Exactly. That's what we're here for.
So Craig Cameron said, Hugh is another mature, big-bodied, ding-it-dog midfielder.
Yep.
That will add to our young group. So he's coming in not to muck around and play, all sorts of roles like he did at the Crows. He's coming in for that dinger. More midfield time.
Well, there you go.
Okay, well, let's do that. So now we do have a question here from Stephen James. Any chance that Hugh Greenwood will get bulk time in the Suns midfield and do similar to Fiorini as an underpriced unique?
Yes.
So at 78.2, you think 90, Roy?
Yeah, so I think minimum plus 12.
Right.
It's a lot.
Is that enough? It's not enough for a midfielder, though, in Classic, is
No,
it?
if he's forward, though. If he's got forward
yeah,
status.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, that's enough if he's got forward status.
Especially if we're losing all those forwards.
Especially if he's in the rolling 22.
So at the moment,
Because that
I've got
goes down real well each week.
Akers, Stephen and Hugh in my forward line.
Already.
Yep, locked.
That's what the trade period does for you.
Yeah.
The Telstra AFL Trade Period. We're all on board. Zach Smith, he just obviously is in the NEFL, isn't he?
He will average 142, just like Cameron did.
He averaged 85
He's
in
insurance.
2017.
He's
I
insurance.
told you he averaged over 80. He was good. All right, he'll get a discount. Price is under 60. If Witch went down in the pre-season, is that where we start thinking now about him? No.
Don't say it's so hopeful,
Jeez,
sicko.
you are sick.
Let's settle down.
Talking about knives and people going down.
GWS. They brought in, and this is big,
Yeah.
because he's a massive human, Sauce Jacobs. Now, Sauces, what would Sauces say about this? He becomes their number one ruck, though, doesn't
It
he?
may well be related.
Because Mumford's still there. So
Yes.
he triggered a clause in his contract or whatever to stay on the list. Because I think I thought he was going to retire.
I thought he was gone too.
I reckon they start the season. Mumford is now the backup.
Do you think
the
he
safety.
plays?
Because
No.
Isn't
They wouldn't
Dawson's...
play him together.
I don't reckon.
Dawson Simpson retired.
He's gone, so they all just swap roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Mumford's fills in when Sauce has a break.
So Jacobs, he's always been good for us, consistent for those sort of mid-80s into the 90s averages each year. And we always probably draft him in those first 5 or 6 rucks too. That's where we're looking. This year, obviously, let down. Played 5 games for an 80 average, and that's because Riley O'Brien.
And he shared a couple with Riley, I think, in those times.
So, I don't know. He did average 108 in the Sandful, so his
Hasn't
form is
lost
still
it completely.
good.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
What is he, about 30?
Yeah.
That's
And
Ruckman prime.
That's okay for a ruck, yeah.
I think he's 31 and Mummy's 33, but
But Mummy looked clearly past it.
he shouldn't have been
So
playing
I don't
those
think
last
he
few
will
games.
play. Not with an option like the class of Sauce coming in.
And they're never playing together.
No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so.
Now, Ben at Eagle in Taz has asked us, what's Jacobs going to be priced at and could he be an option? So he gets a discount. So it's a 15% discount because he played 5 games.
Yep.
So he's going to be priced there, under 70.
Yeah. I think I had him at 68.
So is he then a mid-price ruck that we go with? You go Grundy as 1 and then Sauce at 2?
There is no way, if he's sole ruck, there is no way he averages that low.
No, he's an 85, I'll
He
give
is,
him.
yeah.
Wow, well, that's an absolute bargain.
Minimum.
That's a 17 unders, dog.
You'd be happy to keep that for a long time.
Yep.
All right, we'll lock that. Now, the Hawks, this I like. Well, let's talk about their outs. Grant Birchall and Mark Pitnet went out. So 2 big boys, a big defender and also Pitnet, a ruckman there.
Yep.
But coming in, 2 big blokes, one at either end of the ground there in Sam Frost and Jonathan Patton.
Yes.
Right, let's firstly talk about what this could mean here.
Well, the obvious one is Frost coming in, we feel would free up Sicily.
He'll play
Has
in the
to
back
free
line,
up Sick Dog.
So, Sick Dog, when we all thought, well, not all of us, there were some people that stayed strong with their no Sick Dog rule, but most of us thought last year would have continued the spike, and he probably should have averaged over 100, we thought, based on that good season a couple of years ago, but he played that more key defender role, which took down the marks. Now, I wrote an interesting stat here.
Oh, did you?
So, in 2018, he took 9+ marks on 6 occasions. And that was from only 14 games.
Right.
So that's a pretty good strike rate.
Yes.
And that season he went on to average 96. Now, he also, on 6 occasions, took 9+ marks this previous year, but that was from all 22 games.
Yep.
So the strike rate wasn't there, which I think is reflective of the role, and I think that role switches back now that Frost is there.
And the thing with Patton coming in, he's not going to have to play forward again.
No.
Like, they're not going to do that, are they?
No, that's gone.
That's gone. Obviously, Lewis as a forward and having Patton there now, that means that he just stays back and plays that role.
Surely.
Sick Dog's coming to our team as an underpriced premium defender.
Well, Jaden does ask this off Twitter. Is Sicily an option now that Birchall is gone and Frost Patton have been brought in? He was put on my never again list for the second time this season.
Yeah.
Is he a starter then for us?
Yes.
Or do you
team,
need to still watch and wait and see? Or
every
is
name,
pre-season going to be enough?
Every name we've said so far is in my team. Sick Dog, lock.
Well, he
He's
wasn't
someone
traded.
that, I don't know, it's like sick dog, sick part of our thinking that we always talk about the guy. He really shouldn't be spoken about. He's nothing more than a headache.
He's a headache.
Really. But, I don't know, if you care about your own well-being, stay away from him, but...
So the guys
he's
that
an
came
option.
in, Frost, he's not an option,
No.
50-odd guy.
I reckon Patton is.
Patton
is.
could be 30% discount again because he didn't play this year, and price him under 50.
So what are basement rookies, like, what's their price reflect
30,
an average of
25
like...
to 30,
right.
somewhere in
Right,
that
so
range.
you are paying a little bit
You are
more.
paying more.
But
You're paying like a first-round draft pick, aren't
bit
you?
higher,
Bit
yeah.
higher.
When he's fit, though, he had a couple of years of low 70s.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what he could be
Is
at
that
Hawthorn.
enough?
Yes. If he's priced at 48 or
Coming
50...
off 3 knee reconstructions, 2 on the same knee because he don't have 3 legs.
But
Yeah.
Hawks have got great doctors. Yeah, you know about this.
He has been training like
he's
for the back
trained-
half of the
exactly.
season.
So
that's-
I like that.
And I heard from your mate Roy, sources, that he actually was quite fit and ready to go
Same.
and playing in those. He could have played finals.
Yeah.
Sources knows a lot more about the Brisbane Lions than any other club, but we'll
He
see.
does, at this stage.
All right. At this stage. That's very important to say. That's what they need to say in the trade period
Correct.
a lot more. Right, let's get into the Ds. And Ed Langdon and Adam Tomlinson come in, with Sam Frost going out, but they are 2 wingers. And I think probably the thing that we saw with Tomlinson, he played a wing anyway, but guess what? He's getting more midfield time.
Oh.
They said that. That's what he went for, he reckons.
They said that. Yep.
All right, so let's have a look here. And this has been a common question through all the socials. And KB says, with Melbourne now having 2 wingmen, surely this means more Brayshaw in the guts again.
You would think so.
You would
this
think
is
so.
one where you
That
think...
was his issue, wasn't it? He scored poorly.
Yeah.
Not that it was that bad. I think when you look at his averages, high 80s, I think that's coming off a 105
Yeah.
that we thought was better than that. And
It
we thought he was
what he
underpriced
did
at that 105.
That back end of the season.
Oh.
And
He
his,
nearly won a Brownlow in half a season.
and
he
his
played that well.
JLT, what he did
Oh,
with
yeah, he was massive
JLT.
in JLT. So he played down the wing and just didn't get the pill. But
This-
Melbourne was so much more awful than what they were the year before as well.
And they have named up these 2 ins as wings.
Yep.
So he is surely back in the middle.
Tomlinson still gets more midfield time though.
Oh,
That's-
he does, and I dug a bit further. I got another
okay.
quote.
Oh,
so
right.
it must be happening
Quoting.
because Josh Mahoney said,
Mahoney.
"Oh yeah,
Mahoney.
is it?
Mahoney.
I know who he is, but I can't read.
No.
Now he said he played a number of different roles for the Giants, but they were looking for someone who can run up and down the MCG on a wing.
Oh.
So that works perfectly. Now, if you're looking at him, if you're looking actually at him as an option, last time I watched him lope up and down a wing, he had 60 at the MCG in the grand final.
Oh, right. There you
We're
go.
not looking at him. This is a definite flow-on effect one.
Yeah, he's not. He only averages like 18 touches or
How does
something
he
a game,
do
doesn't
that? How does he
he? I don't know.
average
That's something.
so few?
All right, let's have a look here. Well, Langdon, he is an option, definitely a draft option. Now, he's someone that is fairly consistent. 8 tons this year. 4 of those were in the fantasy finals too.
Yeah,
Do you know how I knew that?
Oh, no.
Here we
He's
go.
on my draft team.
We've gone there twice. Already.
4 times.
Oh.
No, he's good. He only had 6 games below 87. So consistency, you like that. Not going to be a premium option, though, for Classic.
No.
For draft, he's one of those later picks that you'll get in the midfield and be serviceable if you've got a shallower draft. He's going to come off your bench and be very handy when you need it. Because that's, for me, talking about my draft team, he was Cornelio for those last few weeks.
Oh, that's great, dog. Well done.
He got me
Oh, God.
tons.
We're actually now digging further into your team.
Just got a message.
Right.
No one cares.
North Melbourne, let's look here. They only did had one player come in, none out, and that was Aidan Bonner. Now, he is going to be
Glad you pronounced it first. That would have been my second blooper.
He is getting more midfield time. Well, he's actually going to get a game. That's the thing as well.
Yeah.
But he will be playing, you would think.
Yeah, definitely.
Agree?
So he is very versatile, and he's come into the side saying he's happy to play whatever role the team needs, obviously saying all the right things, his old Boner. Now, Bonner. Now, so he is going to, I agree with you, Dog, definitely get the ding-a-ling-ling more midfield time for them. Yep.
He's he's been playing a forward mostly though in his career, and that's been the issue for him with his scoring because 50-odd average. Even in the NEAFL, he hasn't even dropped out massive numbers. They've been
that's concerning.
84 and
That's a
78
huge
in the last 2 years. What's that equivalent to, Cal?
40.
That is.
If that.
Now, the thing is, though, the fact that we are likely going to be able to pick him as a forward, Dog, getting midfield time for them, cheap price.
My forward line's full.
Lockety-lock.
I did talk about him on...
might even push for the 22 to start.
Oh!
Heard him
You've gone too
talking
far.
on SEN, and he was basically saying inside midfielder.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's
there you
what
go.
he's saying. Like, I'm saying superstar fantasy coach.
It's not true till someone asks.
All right, let's go into Port Adelaide then. Now, there's a little bit of a mass exodus there, especially for big blokes. So Frampton, Dougal Howard and Paddy Ryder, the outs, which is going to mix things up for them a lot, I think. Not hugely fantasy relevant, but it's going to be a bit of a change in their side because obviously Dougal Howard, who played a bit forward as well, and that's part of the reason why he left, I think. But he's one of their better defenders. But Paddy Ryder out, maybe Lycett.
That's 3 big outs.
And Frampton obviously didn't play much at all, but it's still another big, tall timber. Well, 2 of their ruck type too.
So who came in?
None. No one came in for Port Adelaide.
Oh, what?
So there's going to be
That's bad trading,
there.
right?
Opportunities.
But it's going to be the key position players. So unless they're the basement price ones that might get a gig.
So Lycett's going to be solo ruck.
Yeah.
Remember the numbers he was having as solo ruck?
That's going to be interesting. One to watch.
Bing!
We need a ruck one. Let's get into Richmond. They didn't bring anyone in.
They don't need to.
They don't need to. They lost their Brandon Ellis and one of Roy's old mates, Dan Butler. You've been a fan of him over the years.
Yep.
It's a
rocky relationship.
Those 2 guys, well, especially Ellis, obviously a 22 player. Who's coming in? Well, he's in the side because he played in the grand final. He's still going to be basement price. He's your first pick next year.
Wow.
He certainly
has
is.
to be.
Yeah. So
I want him on
I mean, the only time we've ever seen him is on the biggest stage, 22 possessions and a goal for
Massive.
73, and the midfield time there was real.
Yes.
He was just going straight in there.
He's going to be, I'm putting his name forward to be on the cover of the record.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
Really?
Yeah. His spin move. You won't
Will he
see
be the
him.
most selected player to start the season?
100%.
So old mate
have to
Sydney
be.
Stack will come in.
Yeah.
Be that half back which he was
Yeah.
playing.
So-
They'll work out their wingers.
So obviously...
Not too much change.
No, but with people going out, obviously, Stack obviously comes back in, as you said, but a 72 average, but that was 5 scores under 60, including a 32, and he walks in, though, and I think those scores are a thing of the past.
Oh, so he could be underpriced.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah, with that opportunity of, like, Ellis out.
Are you going to pick him?
Unlikely.
No, right. St Kilda now, these guys were the kings of the trade period. And, they brought in Dan Butler, Brad Hill, Dougal Howard, Zach Jones, Paddy Ryder. All of them probably go into the 22. Or pretty close to it.
Yes, they would, Dog.
Yep. They lost Blake Acres, Josh Bruce and Jack Stephen. So those 5 coming in. Let's look at it. Paddy Ryder.
Yeah, not good for Marshall.
No, that's the issue.
not.
You're not
That's a
picking
huge
Ryder.
issue. No.
But Marshall, who averaged 99,
Wow.
was epic.
He was.
It was probably up there with one of the picks of the year.
Yeah, and he would have
If
been.
it wasn't for
really,
Riley O'Brien, he
Yeah.
probably was the ruck of the year.
I reckon he would have been a really exciting, unique to start with had
Yeah.
Ryder not come to the team.
Yeah.
But that's out now. That's a big line through him.
Yeah. So, but glass half full, as we do at times, is does he play more forward now, Marshall, and therefore get ruck forward status?
Well, that's all in your hands, dog.
It could be. That might be the
Flick
thing.
the switch,
Now, Brad Hill, he averaged 94, 81, 89 at the Dockers. He's
Yeah.
a winger, midfielder, not good enough for most things.
No.
Even in draft, he's sort of down the bottom end
He is.
anyway.
He just does a
of
90
what you're looking
again,
for.
doesn't
he? He will.
That's what he'll do. But the big thing for this, as a question from Alex comes here off a Twitter, will Brad Hill going to the Saints take away some midfield minutes from Billings?
Yes.
So that wing type stuff going on. Now, their outs, Akers, probably played a bit more forward, but was a bit of a up
Yeah.
there. But Bruce, Stephen, not really options there. I think Billings probably could be affected by that.
Could take a little hit, but he was just so good
He was.
last year. You can't mess around with
Is
his role
Billings
too
even
much.
on our radar, though, because he won't have forward status?
Oh, no, he's not on anyone's radar.
It's not.
What about your mate, Zach Jones, Roy? Now, you used to gamble with him.
Yes.
Now, is he better as a defender or is he better as a midfielder? What was it again?
What was it?
He
was
went
scoring
inside
better.
mid for the
Yeah.
Swans this year.
And then he was...
He was scoring better as a half-back flanker,
I think
wasn't
he was.
Getting
I think so,
uncontested
yeah.
marks with
Yeah.
Lloyd and things like that. But so, what role, what position status he has will be very
I think,
interesting.
I don't know.
It'll be
yeah,
mid,
it's going
you
to be
reckon?
more mid. He could still have defender.
You'd half consider it,
Because
but
he was
you would.
inside
That's
mid
a-
as well.
yeah.
That was the other thing about it. Like, so he averaged 22 and a half disposals this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was his best return that he's had. Dougal Howard, we're not touching him as a fantasy option. And Butler, we won't do him either because he is about a 50-odd
Yeah, he
guy.
doesn't score.
He doesn't.
No,
he
he's
made
got-
some money for you.
Yeah. He's
Couple
got
of years ago.
forward pressure.
For the Swans, they brought in Louis Taylor. What do you reckon? No.
No. Louis Taylor can never average 80 for some reason.
No.
Even he'll have seasons where he has a hot patch and you go, oh, he's
Rising
on.
star
And then,
winner.
no. Oh,
Discounted, though.
please don't bring
He
that up.
is getting a little bit of a discount, 15%.
Yeah,
So
and you need more.
They lost Darcy Cameron and Zach Jones, as we've mentioned earlier. So, what happens now? Your mate Papley, Roy.
Yes,
He has good numbers.
he does. And I think he may benefit slightly from Louis Taylor coming in.
Okay.
And the only
Pushes
reason
up a
I
bit
think
more.
this, because ding me dog, this is me.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sources for this one.
Go,
I
Roy.
reckon Papley is their best clearance player almost.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
think having Louis Taylor waste that space up forward, because he won't do much up there, but I think having him up there might give Papley more opportunities through the midfield. His numbers when he does work in there is elite.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they put him in there more?
They will, and he'll clear big clearances out down to Danaher. So
You're an idiot.
But, so I don't know. That's just me being sources there. I
All right,
think
West
that could
Coast,
happen.
let's look here. Probably the biggest name of the trade period. And if you're picking a draft based on the guys that were traded, you'd be picking Tim Kelly first, I reckon.
Goodness
Probably
me.
the only bloke that's going over 100 out of anyone that was traded.
Huge name to move, really.
Isn't it?
Was. So he was the only one in, no outs for the Eagles, which is a massive result for them. Obviously lost picks and
It
stuff,
is.
but they get better.
they get
They
better.
They do. A
They
lot
get
better.
So
Significantly.
Tim Kelly only played 2 years, as we know, mature age pick. They should have had him years ago.
Should have.
But anyway, averaged 96.8 from his 22 games this year. He was the sixth most popular player at season end, second best forward behind his ex-teammate Dangerfield.
Wow.
But he won't be a forward this
No.
year. He's
No.
just going to be straight up mid. Up to round 15. These were some of the stats I was looking at.
Yeah.
He was averaging 103.
It's big, isn't it?
Okay,
Yeah.
and he had 8 of those scores in those first 15 over 108.
Amazing.
5 over 120, top score of 131. So, thing is, he tailed off at the end. Do we have any reasons for that, where he only scored 1 ton in the last 8 games to average 86?
It was a big workload for someone playing only their second
Yep.
season at the top level.
Yeah.
Pressures
So
of
I
being
think-
traded.
Yeah, I think that would affect him a little bit. So are you saying that with that sort of shackle being off and
Yeah.
a third full pre-season, he might be able to...
Do you think he goes over 100?
end
That's the
better?
thing.
I think he can, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So the question here from James Buzz Barwick, what are the predictions for Tim Kelly's scoring potential now that he's joined the Eagles? What do you think? Put a number on it.
He's
I
just
think
over
he
the
goes 103.
101.
Yeah.
I think he just ticks over it.
Yeah.
So not an option then in Classic to start
Definitely
with?
draftable, of course, but I don't not
Probably
to
the top
start.
20 midfielders in draft.
Yeah. And even it's a low risk pick, I reckon, because he's not going to get any worse, and he might,
Third year breakout.
Oh, there
Wow.
you go. Imagine
Wouldn't it
that.
be?
But it's interesting what it does to the rest of the midfield
and
at the Eagles as well.
Question from Joel there. How do you see the Gaff, Kelly, Shuey scores being affected by the recent trade?
Right.
First names I thought of, though, and before we get into those guys, is Redden and Sheed are the ones that are really going to suffer from that.
Agree.
They'll be the first ones out of any midfield rotation,
Yes.
won't they?
Yeah. Now, Shuey, he managed to average 100 this year, which it's a significant thing for him because he's never done it.
No,
he's
it's
always
just-
high 90s. I think
You always
he only
have faith in him. But
you do. So, and he only got tagged once or twice this year.
Yep.
So, he's not going to get tagged with Kelly there either. So he'll be much the same, about 100. Gaff had a career high 111. Now, he only got tagged twice for the season as well. Now, he's not getting tagged either. He's playing that wing anyway, where they find it hard to tag him, and Kelly will get the tag anyway. So I think Shuey 100 again, Kelly that 103 type thing, and Gaff 110 again.
Yeah.
I think that's just...
It's definitely not going to negatively affect
I
them.
think you'll all just get what you pay for with those guys.
They'll be interesting to watch.
Definitely.
Over the pre-season. Final team, Western Bulldogs. Didn't do much here. They brought in Bruce and Keith, a couple of tall timbers, one at either end kind of thing. That's probably all you think about that. Bruce only averaged 58 this year. Played all 22 games. Only had 2 games over 80. So he's not an option.
Not on
or
the
is
radar.
he? Not at all?
No.
Now, Keith, when he has double-figure marks,
Yes.
he scores really well.
He does.
So he could be one of those streamable type dudes in draft. But
Yeah.
I don't think that
No.
there are options.
Used to be a cricketer.
It is. Where'd you learn that on? Telstra AFL Trade Radio, Cal?
Heard that somewhere along the line.
Right. Anything out of that? Probably not.
No, except if it's this time of the year where we have to find something.
Yeah.
Norton is going into his third year. Third year breakout. I reckon having Bruce up forward, Norton could push up the ground a little bit. He could increase his average by up to 20 points to an 80.
20?
Yep.
So you're picking Norton now?
In a pre-season team that lasts about 2 days. Yeah.
All right, just before we head off, we've got a few questions from Twitter. Justin asks, which teams have the best and worst photoshopping skills? Just quietly, the AFL media team was epic.
Yes.
There's a video on the AFL Facebook page. Check it out. It shows you how they did it. And it's amazing. It's good.
Some people just don't care.
North Melbourne.
That was shocking.
Did you see that?
I did see
They
that.
just found another guy with similar skin tone, cut out his head, stuck it on there. I think he still had the other guy's chin still in there. Shot.
I don't know how important it is to actually even have that image.
No.
I don't know why it is so important.
Do it properly,
to have
or just put them in their
I
old
just reckon
uniform.
wait till they've got a photo in it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But I don't know.
All right, from Hayden here. Now, a couple of questions here. Let's just go with this one, though. Lysett and Riley O'Brien, now that Ryder and Jacobs have both left. Roy, you've been looking at this as options for our rucks. Maybe classic and draft here. These guys their relevance increases.
Yeah, it does, massively. Now, Lysett, I reckon it's a great question because there was a few times where he basically had solo ruck duties.
Yep.
And the period I liked most was the rounds 14, 15 and 16 where he had 130, 140 and 104.
Wow.
Now, he's priced at 83.
Yep.
A lot of his poor scores came about when he did share those ruck duties. So that's what he can do.
So what is he, 90, 95?
He can be.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're not going to muck around with 2 rucks playing this year, are
No.
they? They
Well,
don't
who do
really
they
have the
have?
opportunity
Well, they've got
to
no
do
one
that.
over 190
I
centimetres.
guess if Frampton... Oh, hang on. Who are we talking about at the moment?
Paul.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So,
Frampton's gone.
so yeah, he's definitely an option. Now, O'Brien, so he also shared duties which produced his poor scores throughout the year as well. So, for example, in that round 22 game, he shared with Source and had 48.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, not a reflection of that 96 average that he had for the year. You factor that sort of stuff in, and the fact that he will go solo, And he's averaging over 100, isn't he?
So he might just get chopped out by Frampton if he's playing.
Yeah.
That's probably the only
and
thing,
like you said there, it's only little 5-10 minute chop outs, not that actual 2, just rucks in there. So one thing that's always a risk when there's a new coach, new game style, some players can be given a completely different role, can't they? Oh, well, he's always going to be ruck, but game style can affect a ruckman's score.
Big time.
That's the only thing.
So
otherwise,
he's
he's
going
going
as well. That was the thing about it.
Otherwise, he's going over 100.
Right,
has to.
Adrian Butler. Which discounted players are we looking at for next year, Cow?
Get our pig back. We get our pig back, boys.
Tom Mitchell,
yes, we do.
Yeah.
And Doherty's going to be obviously.
Well, Doherty hasn't played for 2 years, so they'll be heavily discounted.
What I like though,
or will they be heavily discounted?
Well, it's up to you. Oh, what
I don't know. I assume they will be.
Cal Ward. Ward, he's going to be dirt cheap for what he can do. So he's a 90 plus.
If he's right.
If he's right. So JLT watch, dog.
There'll be a lot that we'll talk about, those discounted players.
Hopefully, and all 3 will definitely sit in my pre-season team there, Doc, Mitchell and Cal Ward.
You're going to break records of invitations for pre-season training and destroy this year, I reckon, the way it's sounding so far.
I'll need a big stadium.
All right, let's have a look here from Branko. Which player that Carlton failed to recruit will have the best season?
I don't know why people keep... My Twitter account has lit up with this sort of stuff.
I've never seen someone have so much swag over the trade
didn't
period.
he ever? I did notice.
Yeah, I had a Spencer for top 4, this is true.
You knew. It was always going to come and bite you in the backside, regardless of what happened.
It's only a nibble on my bum, because the only one we missed, despite what this smart Alec was saying, Papley is the only one we missed. Yeah, disappointing. But, yeah, we missed one. So people got to just back off.
What about Martin?
We get him free now. It's smart play by Sauce. What?
Right,
Admit it. Admit it. It's true.
Okay, let's go to Lockie here. Might be our last question here for today. Where can we bet on who will wear the green vest most often?
Why would he ask that? It's pre-season, Lockie.
And
we're all back even now.
One of us is paying 1.00.
Can't even bet on it.
No.
Who? I'll get out. No.
Okay, I'll be nice. You're $1.10.
No, I'm not.
Now, Calvin.
Well, actually, you're here now, so that's a positive. You're actually trying harder this year.
Calvin, you're researching Calvin's captains for the week. The first thing you look at, recent form versus opponents. You never beat us.
13 green vests this year. That's more than half for the year.
What happened the year before? What happened the year before?
No, you had the most.
2018?
Yeah.
I was our highest scorer. No, was it?
No, you weren't. I was.
2017. It was one of the years.
I think that's enough for us. You can follow us on Twitter at WarnieDT.
Jesus.
At Roy DT.
I'm going home to have a good hard look in the mirror.
At Calvin DT. You can grab him. The official account on Twitter is at AFL Fantasy. We'll have plenty of stuff floating through. Pre-season isn't too far away. I think we'll still officially call this the off-season.
Yes.
Feet up. Resting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't stop calling me in to do this stuff.
And we've got stuff coming up. The fixture won't be too far away where we start doing a bit of thinking about that. Fingers crossed it's just one bye weekend.
Get to see who has...
Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, that would be...
Cal Scala Hardness, first 6 rounds. Look out.
That'll be huge. The draft will happen. And then after the draft, that's when we start getting happening, because we'll get the team lists. They'll be all official. Champion Data will supply us with the positions. Fan Hub will get all the prices all sorted out, and then we're back working.
Yeah, in the next couple of weeks too, due to popular demand, I'll roll out a rolling 22.
Fantastic. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you, a few weeks' time.
Yeah,
when
something relevant
the
happens.
pre-season really starts. See ya.
You've been listening to the official AFL Fantasy podcast. For more expert advice from the traders, head to afl.com.au/fantasy.